Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 14 of the Raider Power Podcast. I'm Evan. With me today, as always, is Chris. And today, got a very special guest, Ethan Duncan, one of the incoming freshmen for the Texas Tech men's basketball team, right out of Lubbock, Texas, 806 standout. Ethan, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thank y'all for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.
We are stoked that you're on. Chris, I'm not even going to ask how you're doing. I just want to talk to Ethan.
All right.
Ethan, tell us a little bit about where you're from, kind of where you grew up and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. I'm actually born and raised in Lubbock, so I've always kind of been around Texas Tech. My dad was a coach at Trinity Christian for I think 15 years before he moved to Lubbock Christian University. He's been there for 10 years now. So I've been around Trinity Christian for a while now. I've played basketball there, my whole life. I am the son to Holly Duncan. She's the CEO of a nonprofit organization in Lubbock too. And my older sister, Ashley Duncan, who plays basketball at LCU, two-time national champ. So I've got a good family around me, and I'm blessed to be in Lubbock and be able to stay in Lubbock for my future. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome, Ethan. Yeah, as I was telling you on the phone, I'm from Lubbock as well. So is Chris. I went to Trinity myself. Been a Tech fan ever since I could walk. So is Chris. And so when we saw your commitment to Texas Tech, we were ecstatic to say the least. We've been keeping up with you a bit in high school. And tell us about your recruitment process, man. Kind of, if you're allowed to share, what other schools were you in contact with, and also what for you was the deciding factor to stay in Lubbock?
Yeah, for sure. No, my recruiting process kind of started my sophomore year summer. I played for a team called Moody Elite. We traveled to Georgia, Kansas City, New Jersey. So I got a few interests starting there from Grand Canyon and Drake. And then after kind of just a pretty good high school career, my senior year, I've got some interest from Lipscomb, Davidson, Tennessee, North Carolina a little towards the end, and then Texas and Texas Tech. Towards the end of the year when I was, trying to make my decision after we had lost in the state finals, I was kind of narrowed it down to Texas Tech and Texas. And I was trying to decide and prayerfully consider my options there. And I think what really made it a no-brainer for me was just the relationship I had with Coach Sutton and Coach Adams and some of the players that I've already met there. I think it was a really cool opportunity to come in knowing some of the guys that I've just seen around and been around just being in Lubbock. And just knowing Coach Adams and how he's talked to me, he's always been honest. He's been straightforward. He's seen the potential in my game. And as a person, he's always wanted to develop young men, not just basketball players. And so that was something that was super attractive when I was looking into the recruitment and, the new facilities that we have in the city, just being able to come from Lubbock and stay in Lubbock with just the fan base and the support I had from all around me. It really made it a clear decision. So I was super excited to get going here.
That's awesome, man. I wanted to talk a little bit about your career at Trinity. It's funny you mentioned Moody Elite. I'm assuming that's Emmanuel Moody. I remember him playing at Grace Prep. I didn't play basketball in high school, but I certainly traveled and watched my friends play, and I remember going up against him and Isaiah Austin, and those were always crazy games. So
you can't dunk, Evan?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
You
lower that puppy to 7 feet, and it's game over. But so Ethan, I grew up, big basketball fan. It's no secret to you that there was a lot of talent to come through Trinity Christian. I mean, a ton. A lot of basketball roots. As you said, your dad being the coach there for many years. Most of our listeners know this, but for those that don't, Ethan broke the record for scoring at Trinity Christian. And that, I think it was actually from a guy that I graduated with, Parker Wentz. And that is quite the accomplishment, just given the caliber of players that's come through there. So, A, I wanted to say congratulations, but B, kind of talk about what it was like playing at Trinity, kind of the competition you guys would go up against. Coach Sutton wasn't always your head coach, right? You had a few head coaches.
No, sir. I had Coach Brandon Gilbert for 3 years. Okay. And then my final year was Coach Sutton.
So talk a little bit about high school, kind of the competition you went up against, how you feel like that has prepared you for the next level, if you went to state or anything like that, and anything you can share there.
Yeah, just freshman year, I was I think the only non-senior on the team, and so I was immediately I was involved with a good community of guys. We didn't have the best year, but just kind of then I was kind of getting able to get the touch of what it was like to play, high school basketball at the varsity level. And I was prepared for that because I'd worked out with my dad's guys at LCU a lot, and so I was ready for the pace and what the game, what that was going to come with. But yeah, just throughout kind of my high school career, I made it a goal of mine to try to be the all-time leading scorer at Trinity, and obviously to win a state championship. Unfortunately, we didn't get that goal, but I'm just building up throughout my high school career. Sophomore year, we lost in the Final Four to Grace Prep, unfortunately. So that's kind of like the rival school. But just throughout those games, the Cap Rock tournament, all that stuff, I think Trinity was a real big sleeper just in the West Texas or even overall Texas area because we're a private school, and I think we get often overlooked with our competition. We're playing Permian, we're playing Palo Duro, Tascosa, Amarillo High, and even teams from Dallas, Oklahoma, where, we have a really good strength of schedule. I think we were like fifth or something this year for Max Press strength of schedule in the whole state of Texas, TAPS and UIL. So I think, regardless of what division we're in, I think we were a really good, top team in the state. And just, yeah, throughout my high school journey, we've always been kind of a team that, played the public schools and did well. Senior year, I think this was the best team that I played with. I had some guys around me, Tate Truby and Tucker Smotherman, who were super talented guys. Tucker came in from New Mexico, and it was a blessing to have him on the team. He was a super good athlete and really skilled player, and he brought length and size. And so just, stuff like that come together. We were able to have a really good year. We beat our rivals, Grace Prep, in the Final Four, and we lost to Westbury. I'm sure you remember Westbury too. We lost to them by, I think, 4 or 5 in overtime in the state championship. But we had a really good year, and just throughout my high school career, I think that's something that I've been super proud to be a part of, is just the Trinity community, and shock a lot of people with kind of what the private school stereotype is. I think we've kind of changed the narrative with that.
Wow, that's quite the journey, man. So,
Absolutely.
Ethan, when did you start playing basketball, and when did you start to feel that you could compete at the D1 level?
I mean, I guess when I was able to start walking.
Yeah.
I see pictures, even with graduation coming up, my mom's bringing up all these pictures of me as a little baby with balls in my hand. So I started at a really young age. I was always playing, I had the goal on top of the door frame, stuff like that. I remember just going up to Trinity, watch my dad, watch Parker Wentz, all those guys. So I was really young. I was playing, in church leagues and AAU tournaments ever since I can remember. So I've always been around the game, and it's been really cool to see the guys that have been around throughout Lubbock and see the potential that a lot of the guys have had around and make it to the next level. But my goal was always to make it to the Division I level. That's something that I've always wanted to do, not just college basketball, but Division I. My dad tells a story that he was I think a junior in high school, and he had no scholarship offers. He's barely on varsity, and he put on his mirror, I will play Division I basketball. And he just worked every day for that goal, and he ended up going the JUCO route, but he made it happen. So I was always just kind of setting a goal and putting my priorities right, God first, and trusting in what the Lord asked for me. And fortunately enough, out of high school, I had that opportunity, and I've always believed in myself, and I know it's going to take another level of work ethic and developing my game, but it's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's awesome, Ethan. When you made your commitment, I remember calling my parents, who were big Texas Tech basketball fans as well, and I told them, I said, "Did you see we got Ethan Duncan?" And my mom said, "Man, I remember going to Trinity basketball games when he was like 4 years old. He'd go shoot hoops at halftime." So pretty cool legacy that you left at Trinity. I mean, since, like you said, when you're walking all the way up through and you get to stay here in Lubbock. So I did want to talk about kind of towards the end of your recruiting process. You've been open about it in other interviews that Coach Beard was pretty consistently in contact with you, as well as Coach Adams. So kind of what did that look like in your recruiting process? I mean, I'm sure it came as a surprise when Coach Beard announced his departure from Texas Tech to Texas. Did you have Texas kind of on the radar before he left for Texas, or was that kind of what drew you in?
Yeah, no, I actually, so when Coach Beard was at Texas Tech, he was recruiting me kind of throughout my high school career as well. And so I committed to him about a week or two before he actually left for Austin. And so I guess, at that point, it's kind of like you commit to the coach more than you commit to the school because, it's a new coach. So, it's kind of it's like a decommitment. So after that, I was my recruitment was back open, and I still kind of kept it in between Tech and Texas. But Coach Beard, he was contacting me a lot, and Coach Adams, we stayed in touch. I think throughout the first few days, I'm not sure if the other one knew that I was talking with them. So it was kind of a cool deal just to see both sides of what Texas is gonna offer with what I could bring to their program and vice versa. But I was just through communication with both coaches. I was just honored, and it was really cool to just be able to be wanted by both of those coaches and those guys. And I would love to play for both of them. But yeah, throughout the last few days before my commitment, I was talking to Coach Beard a lot and Coach Adams, and I was able to go look at the Womble and see that facility. And I remember 2 nights before my commitment, my private commitment to Coach Adams, before I made it a public deal, I was on the phone with him and my dad for about 2 hours, and he was just, we were talking about everything, and he expressed so much concern for me just as an individual and my faith. And not that Coach Beard didn't, but it just with Coach Adams, I know the person he is and the coach he is. And that was something I always admired about him, because him and my dad go kind of back too, with because Luke Adams played at Trinity as well, so there was always a connection there. But fortunately enough, I was able to talk to Coach Adams and just develop the relationship and keep developing to the point where I was like, this is the guy that I want to play for. And so I finally came up with that decision, and I think it's what's best for me, and I'm excited.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
Ethan.
we're excited as well.
We're giant Coach Adams fans. As you said, I went to Trinity with Luke, and he was about my same age. My mom's friends with Coach Adams' wife. Abby Adams was my sister's little sister in her sorority at Tech. So I've known that family for quite some time, and I could not be more ecstatic for who's taking the reins of the program.
Yes, for sure.
That's pretty funny. You've brought up Parker Wentz. I went to All Saints with him in like 4th grade. I think he.
Oh, wow.
He transferred to Trinity, and we were on the basketball team, or I was playing against them, and I played tennis. I was a big tennis player. And I remember we played against Trinity, and that was the moment that I realized I should quit playing basketball and focus on tennis.
And when did Parker go to Trinity?
Oh man,
I think it was like 4th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. It was pretty young.
He came over and he was cooking dudes as soon as he came over. That guy could ball for sure.
And I'm sure he's 5'0".
Oh yeah. So Ethan, you've expressed your faith pretty openly. I'm curious how that has impacted your basketball career and how that keeps you grounded moving forward with your basketball journey.
Right. No, yeah, that's it's everything. Something that my family's always instilled in me is the need for the trust in the Lord, and for you to put your hope in him, and he will direct your steps. Just throughout the whole process, the recruitment, there was times when I was getting discouraged about kind of what the plans I was going to have for my future playing college basketball. And I think what the coolest thing about my story is when COVID came, it was really a lot of things that hurt a lot of different athletes with just opportunities to showcase at an AAU level. I was getting ready to go to Las Vegas with my Moody A team, where that's, guys, Jalen Green, Jonathan Kaminga, all these really high name recruits that are going to be there. And I was able to showcase that, unfortunately that was taken away because of COVID. But through that, the door opened for me to be able to kind of work out with some of the Tech guys and kind of get my foot in the door there. I kind of had a small communication with them, But once that happened, I was able to be in the gym every day with Jemias Ramsey, Jared Culver, Clarence Nadolny, all those guys that, that are even some of the guys that are on the team now. I was able to be around them and work out with them and develop a relationship. And so that opened the door with me. And I really think it was just God orchestrating all those things for me when I didn't see what he had in store for me. He was using me and making my platform even more opportunity for me to give the glory to him. Because, through COVID, God, opened doors for me that obviously I couldn't have done by myself. And just with the connection with Coach Sutton too, my high school coach, his dad is one of the assistants at Tech. And so it's just a really cool deal where you can see, you step back and look and see how the Lord has moved and put people into places to where I can be, heavily impacted by how God's just had his provisional hand over me this whole time.
That's awesome, Ethan. There's been a lot of turnover. No secret there. We got Nadolny and Agbo and Santos Silva and McCullough coming back. I was super bummed with Benson's departure as of recent, and then we got a plethora of talent coming in on the transfer market. But who have you gotten to kind of connect with on the current roster, if any? And have you gotten to kind of start forming those bonds there yet?
I have a little bit. It's kind of been just through social media. I've talked to KJ Allen the most. That's he's got a really cool story too with just the publicity he's gotten with his game with the Last Chance U. And then I've talked to Adonis a little bit. I've just kind of watched these guys from a distance. We're going to have a team meeting in the next few days, actually, where they're all going to come down to Lubbock and we'll meet up and get ready to go. But yeah, I've kind of developed a relationship just through social media. I've been able to talk to those guys. I'm super excited to meet all of them. I think it's really cool how we've been able to get some of those guys. I think our most recent recruit from France, who was, from Arizona, just some guys, that just come in transfers, Davion Warren from Hampton and Malik Wilson. So just a lot of cool dudes that I'm excited to meet and get to know and play with. They're super talented, and I think they're really going to push everyone around them to be better. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm pumped.
Awesome. Let's talk about your game a little bit. So you're a dead-eye shooter, man. Everybody knows that about you. Over 90% from the free throw line. 45% from three or something crazy like that. How do you see yourself meshing with this team, and what do you see your role as? But also, how do you see your game transferring to the Big 12 level?
Yes, sir. I think just to start the things I know I need to develop more is, my body as someone that's undersized, not the best athlete on the court. I'm going to need, my skill is going to need to be something that I'm, super polished on, and as well just my strength, being able to take bumps, come off screens, stay in front of, Big 12 guards, Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, obviously those guys will get drafted, but just players like that where, they're strong, 6'3" guards. I'm going to need to be able to get in the game and be able to stand in front of those guys. Obviously with Coach Adams and how defensive minded he is, I can't do what I did at Trinity sometimes, but I'm looking forward to that. As far as my game and the conversion over there, I think shooting, it never changes. I think I've got my range is very good, so I'm not affected by the deeper 3-point line. I think maybe more of a point guard is what I would be at Tech. Facilitating. I'll have guys around me that can score, that can shoot it from all three levels. They're just great athletes. So they'll always be in positions. I think my IQ and my ability to make decisions, shooting and passing, something that I pride myself in. I have a high basketball IQ. So my ability to set my teammates up for success is something that I think will benefit me in the long run and what I do to help Tech on the court.
So what's your secret to having such a high free throw percentage? Like what's your routine, man?
I guess
other than putting up
it won't be a secret now. I'm just kidding. But I just after every workout I'll shoot on the gun, the machine that kicks it back out to you, and I'll do my routine. I'll set it at like 5 seconds and I'll spin it one, take a dribble, and just consistency and repetition, doing the same thing over and over and trying to get that going. And I would always shoot with my dad at night, and he would say, throughout the recruiting process, whatever schools it'd be, he's like, you're on the road at Baylor, it's the Big 12 championship, 2 shots on the line. So just something to add pressure. And so I can always, rely on my fundamentals, and then it's just natural for me to go up there and sink them. So my dad's helped me with that, but I've just gotten the rhythm and consistency down, and hopefully I can continue to carry it over.
Do the guys in the robes behind the stands, I'm talking about the guys in the Speedos with the signs.
Right.
Does that affect you? I'm curious.
I haven't seen that. I haven't been.
They didn't have guys in thongs at Trinity Christian.
They did not. Unfortunately, that would be a violation of dress code. But, no, I'm trying
just
to think
khakis
of some hostile away games. I guess mainly Christian my sophomore year. They knew my mom's name, and they knew that I was a coach's kid, my sister's name. You're not 6 foot, all this stuff. So, but they're kind of in the crowd. But so I haven't had anybody behind me quite yet. So I guess that's going to be something that I'm going to have to work on. Maybe I'm not going to have anybody come up to the gym and get in the Speedo to stand under the goal, but I'll have to prepare some sort of way.
Well, I'm sure
we'll get Evan down there.
That's right.
In a
Sounds
bikini.
Good. Let's do it. That's right. Let me know.
I'm sure that you shut up the hecklers in high school, and we'll look forward to you doing the same at Tech. I'm sure you experienced some packed games at the Lions Den, but what goes through your mind when you think about what a sellout crowd could be in the arena?
Yeah,
I mean, I
can't
imagine.
I'm thinking about it. I like to go through the Texas Tech basketball Instagram feed, and the media there is so good, and they'll pump you up because it's just videos of the USA packed out, and we've got the knuckleheads that are in Speedos on our side, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives me goosebumps to think about just going in there, even since I was super young, going to those games and seeing Jared Culver with all the flames coming out, all this stuff. I'm super excited about it, and I think that's it's going to be really fun to be in my hometown. And I just think at the end of the day, you're going on and you're still on the same length basketball court with 10 feet goals, and it's an opportunity to showcase how you can put the ball in the hoop and more importantly glorify the Lord in what you do. So I'm looking forward. That's going to be awesome with the USA.
Yeah, man. I went back to a lot
Evan
of games.
And I just got some goosebumps.
Absolutely.
Listening to that. We haven't had a packed house in over a year.
Yeah, man. I mean, last year it just wasn't the same. I mean, it was still great, but I missed the feel of having the USA packed, and hopefully the restrictions will allow that.
Yeah, we're praying for 100% capacity for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
So we got some questions here from the fans on Instagram. I don't know if this one's legit or not, but what do you prefer, Triscuits or Wheat Thins?
Oh, Wheat Thins for sure.
All right. I don't know if there was some kind of connection there or not.
No, that's not an inside joke of me, but
do you have a mantra when you go up to the line? Is there something you think about specifically? Do you think about the score? Or is it just completely clear-headed?
It's honestly pretty blank. I'm trying to think. I remember watching Colin Sexton. He's he's at the Cleveland Cavaliers, but in high school he would always go up to the line and he'd spin it to himself and he'd just sit there for like 10 seconds and look straight at the rim and just focus and lock in. And I kind of started doing that too, just kind of sitting there and trying to lock in, but there's not really anything going through my mind. There's not really anything I'm telling myself, just set, knock it down, hold your follow through, do all that stuff.
What are you looking to accomplish your first year at Tech? Is there any like major goal that you're trying to do personally?
Personally, I think maybe any of the all Big 12 and newcomer or freshman team. I think that'd be a good goal. Shoot above 40% from the three. A lot of my goals just as a freshman. I think coming in, I want to Big 12. Obviously a Big 12 title, season title, and conference title. That'd be awesome. I'm just looking forward to being in that environment. In the Big 12, you can lose or you can win any game. So I'm ready to just for like the business like atmosphere every game day going in, ready to perform. And I think regardless of what my role is, I'll be ready for whatever. I know Coach Adams knows what's best for me, but I'll be pushing the guys around me. I'm a leader, so I'm going to be ready to influence them in whatever way, shape, or form that is. And if it's, and if that's, being the all freshman team, or if that's just being the hype guy and encouraging those guys, I'm looking forward to whatever it is. I have a preference between those two, but I'm looking forward to either one.
And you might be a fan favorite. I think you probably are trending that way at home games. Is there a nickname that the fans should be looking to chant for you?
I don't know. I don't want to be cringy, so I'm not really sure what I'm leaning toward. I'm with a Dragon Ball shirt right now, so I don't know.
Why don't you think about it, and you can hit us up and let us know.
I
we'll
like
start
Lion
spreading
King
the word.
I'm a fan of Lion King. Me and one of my best friends we're big Lion King fans, so Simba or something like that would be cool. But I just want to go in there and win games, and that can be something that fans like.
Right on, man.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I got, Evan.
Right on, Ethan. That's pretty much does it for me as well. You mentioned I was going to ask you about the Womble. You said I got to get a tour of that from a friend. His dad was instrumental in that building going up, and it is a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, it is hard to put the words unless you've seen it. So
yeah, it's really nice. And you're talking about the packed house at the USA. I think it's got, you walk in and that back left wall, it's got like 15,000 something. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. And then just the locker room and the, even the speakers, the scoreboard, the offices, every little thing, the weight room's ridiculous. Yeah, that's just another super, 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 so cool opportunity to be able to go there, whenever I want with a great group of guys around me. And people who are willing to, rebound for me, or people willing to put me through workouts and stuff. I'm going to be wearing out my welcome at the Womble for the first few months there. I'm super excited.
That's good to hear, man. Last question for you, Ethan. Growing up a Tech fan, you got a favorite player or role model, if you will,
or moment
you kind of grew up wanting to be like, and you can't use your dad because that's not a fair answer.
That would be one. Yeah, let me think.
I know you're tight with Mooney. I've seen you and Matt Mooney.
Yes, sir. I'm a big Matt Mooney fan. Just off the court, he's a great guy, someone I look up to a lot. I like Dusty Hannis. I know he wasn't here for that long with Arkansas. And just obviously Jarrett. I think me and Jarrett have a similar story. Obviously I'm not 6'8" and can windmill, but he's from Lubbock, and he's been noticed by the city of Lubbock in the 806 area. And so I remember watching one of the home games when he was introduced, and it's like, and from Lubbock, Texas, Jarrett Culver, that's always something I'm like, yeah, this is something that would be really cool. So, those three guys too, even Moretti, I'm a big fan of all of those guys, and I admire their games a lot. But if I had to say a favorite one, I'd probably say Matt Mooney, to be honest. Matt, he's just a great guy, and he's super unselfish. And even some of the guys now, Terrence Shannon, he was really cool. And the summer workouts, he took me under his wing, and Clarence and Chibuzo. They're just a great group of guys. I'm stoked, and just talking about it gets me really pumped up and ready to go get them.
Us too, brother. Us too. Chris, you got anything else for Ethan?
I do not.
Ethan, thank you so much for joining us, man. I speak for all of Red Raider Nation when I say that we are stoked to watch you do your thing this year, man. Really enjoyed this. Hopefully, once you get your fame in the Big 12, you'll still come back and do this with us again one day.
No doubt. No doubt I will. I appreciate y'all for having me. It's been fun. It's nice to meet y'all.
Yes, you as well.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's it for now. I'm Evan.
I'm Chris.
And this has been the Raider Power Podcast. Guns up, baby.
Guns up.